what does that indicate about God, about who he is? So I'll start kind of give you an example of what I'm thinking about. The first
Please.
thing that I think that hell reveals is that he's just. Okay. And whenever I think about just, what I'm thinking about is that he differentiates between what is good and what is evil. That's my idea of just, being just. He can say, this is good, this is not good. Okay? And so that's kind of the principle. All right? That there's good and there's evil, or Bible says sin. Now, we have to redefine good in a sense that it's a biblical definition of good. Okay?
Yes.
Good isn't what I feel is good. Good is anything that aligns with God's design. Like we took it back to the creation. God says
Mm-hmm.
that it was good. It's because it worked in the way that he designed it. So
Yes.
anything that is working is the way that God designed it is in alignment with what he wants, the way that he created it. That's good. Anything else is evil.
Yes. And so I'm having trouble thinking that there's more to it, but you totally stole the first place that I would have camped out perfectly, is that God is just.
Hmm.
And I would say this about God's justice. We want God to be just.
Hmm.
We really do. And I say that because if you are watching the news or are aware of anything going on in the world, there are people doing awful things to other people. I can't fathom, nor do I care to entertain a long list of all the injustices that humans have done to other humans, but they are long storied and awful. And to
Hmm.
think that God is so loving that he would allow those injustices to stand, and that he's so loving that without any act of contrition or repentance, that forgiveness would be dispensed without any kind of cost, would make God unjust.
Hmm.
And boy, I think we identify with this. I think we understand this, especially if we have children or loved ones, that parents are not inherently violent people, most of them, I would say. But if you mess with their kids, there's a sense of, I will do whatever I need to do to protect my child and to make sure that they don't get hurt. So all humans are made in the image of God. They bear his image. He is their creator. And to harm or to hurt or to kill one of his image bearers is an affront against him. So he can't just let that slide if he is a holy God. And I don't think we want him to. Now,
Right.
I'll say this very quickly. We don't want him to when it relates to others, but many times we want to let it slide when it relates to us, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I heard one radio. It's like that rules are good for everyone else except for me.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's kind of the mentality. So, yeah, I thought that was I kind of knew that that was gonna probably be the beginning, because if there is a hell, then what that is representing is that God is just, that God's going to differentiate between good and evil, right and wrong. And so that was kind of where I started. And the challenge, like you said, is we think about justice from our definition of good versus evil. It's like if someone does something good, then we're like that. If someone doesn't do something that we think that is good, then that's wrong and they need to have some justice. Well, the problem is that our definition of good and God's definition of good is probably not in alignment, but that's completely different. And we need to be really careful about that.
And this, I think, is a modern day social construct as well. And I was hearing it a lot around Star Wars. And forgive me for just a quick diatribe here, a little offshoot is,
Okay.
as the newer Star Wars movies were made, and as the new series and the spin-offs have been created, they're doing interviews with modern day actors and actresses. And a lot of what I've heard in those interviews is that there is no good or evil. That if you just got to understand people like Darth Vader, or if you just understood his backstory, you'd be able to understand why he is the way he is. And it's ridiculous because, I mean, George Lucas's original intention was to create very bad and very good and to juxtapose. I mean, he said
Hmm.
this. So it wasn't a matter of trying to understand or have sympathy for the devil. It was to say, Darth Vader's the evil guy. Like, he's evil. And there's a redemptive arc through his son Luke, which I love the
Hmm.
gospel allusions, where the son actually saves the father, or the second Adam in Luke saves the first Adam in Darth Vader. So without getting too nerdy, which I've already failed at doing, I think the danger in the modern day culture is to say, well, if you just understood a person's story, that they're not actually bad. Maybe they've made some bad decisions, but if maybe you would too if you were in their circumstance. Now, I'm all for being compassionate.
Mhm,
But as we have talked about before, it's not a matter of my actions being bad. It's not a
mhm.
matter of my decisions being bad. It's a matter of my identity being corrupted, so that I don't need to change my decisions. I need to change my identity, my soul.
Yep.